on behalf of my entire tribe of storytellers, mostly very passionate storytellers who live, breathe, as well as small towns of this country. Each member of this, I would like to welcome each one of you who's taken out time to come listen before. International Literacy Day is a celebration of literacy. Today, UNESCO has pointed out that the ongoing pandemic has caused a big gap in the learning of all our children and the gaps in the learning of children who are marginalized, who do not have access to the internet, and they do not have access to digital literacy. And therefore, it's quite ironic as storytellers who've always stood in front of our children, in front of live audiences, looking into their eyes and telling our stories from our heart and letting it travel all the way into theirs. We are also using technology to tell stories to all of you. But that's a promise that we storytellers make every single day, that we live for the day when we will go back into live audience, where we will meet all of you and where we will tell stories to you, again, standing in the midst of all of you. But having said that, International Literacy Day also gives us storytellers to push the boundaries of what storytelling can do. It's not just about reading and writing and learning how to use books, but it is also about using stories to develop all kinds of literacy, emotional literacy, financial literacy, numeracy, talking about mental health, talking about health as per such, talking about media literacy, all the kinds of literacy that there is out there, and using our stories to talk about ourselves and the world that we need, that we live in, and all the kind of literacies that are required to grow into a holistic person. International Literacy Day is a whole lot of fun because of Pratham Books and its One Day, One Story campaign. Personally, I've been part of this campaign since 2014 as a newbie storyteller. But the journey became all the more enriching when my entire tribe joined me in 2018 and 2019. Last year, we were sort of somewhere in the middle and we didn't do the activity as a tribe. But yes, many of our storytellers did tell stories this entire month of September. Every September, thanks to Pratham Books, we've taken it upon ourselves to come together as a tribe to approach the stories from the One Day, One Story campaign and to interpret it and tell it in our own way. And so today, this year, we're going to do it a little differently because we are meeting people virtually. We wanted to showcase our work, showcase our unique storytelling flavors and our multiple ways in which our storytellers can charm you with their stories. So all through this month, we will have live shows on Zoom, on Instagram, and on Clubhouse. We will also have an entire digital library of audio and video stories. I promise you, these are 2 stories, but no storyteller will tell the story in the same way. You will find something new, something refreshing, something magical to take away from it. And we want each one of you, those who are joining us live today and those of you who will watch this video later, to sign up to access all our shows as well as our digital library. Everything is free. Come meet new storytellers, listen to some new fresh voices, and enjoy our gift of stories to you. We are very eager for your feedback. We are open for all kinds of bookings. And if you're looking for a special show, a closed show for your particular school, for your community, you know where to reach us. So today, without much ado, I've done a bit of my introduction, and I know all of you are waiting to listen to the story for this evening. I would like to invite Vasudha Ahuja and Kunnal Shandilya onto the stage. Switch on your cameras, guys. Let everyone see you. Okay, so that's Vasudha and Kunnal. Vasudha is a very new member and a very unusual member to the tribe, and this is her first show with us. And in fact, she's meeting the tribe. She's just met them, and I'm so excited that she took it upon herself to come for the launch event, and she prepared the story with Kunnal. I'm very excited with all that I've heard so far, so I'm not going to take much time blabbering away. Over to you guys. Introduce yourself, introduce your story, and the stage is yours. Have fun.
Go ahead. Vasudha, go ahead.
Thank you, Rituparna. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Rituparna, for giving us the platform to present ourselves here. And it's a pride to be with the tribe, your story bar. Thank you. And thank you, Pratham, for giving us such beautiful stories, out of which we're going to tell one now on this beautiful occasion of Literacy Day. So myself, Vasudha Ahuja, the storyteller to begin with. And with me I have Kunnal Shandilya.
Hey guys.
So, we have to begin the story. Yes, the story. And I'm sure everybody sitting across the screen is a story lover. And I can know that my audience are of all ages, right? Because everybody loves listening to stories. Okay, before I tell you a story, stay still. Become a statue. Don't move. Don't blink. No. Relax yourself. Movement is important. It is very important. And yes, there's fun in movement. Everybody moves. Animals move. We move. You move. And Satya also moves. Satya. Yes. The boy in our story. Satya's hands are dancing, legs are dancing. Every time Satya is moving around. And you know what can he hear every time around him? Satya! 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 Satya, watch out! That's the name of our story. Beautifully written by Yamini Vijaya. Yes. So now, what does this boy Satya do all the time? Satya is jumping all the time. He's crawling all the time. He's rolling all the time. He's falling all the time. Satya, can you stop making that noise? Said Satya's father, whom he called Appa. Now, Satya, if you get hurt, don't you come to me, said his sister, whom he called Akka. Satya, look out, Satya, wait. Satya, you break that. Like all the grandparents, Satya's grandfather, Tata, was all the time worried if Satya's movement will break something. Satya, be careful. Don't hurt yourself. Satya, don't break that. And what was happening in Satya's classroom? Satya, can you stop troubling the class? Satya, can you sit at one place? Satya, can you be at one place? Satya, can you please sit down, Satya? So this was what Satya was listening all the time. What do you think? Could Satya help himself? When his hands and his legs were dancing all the time, it was not in his control. They were always dancing like a peacock you must have seen dancing during the rain. Right, Kunnal bhaiya?
ओ सत्या टिक नहीं पाता अरे सत्या टिक नहीं पाता अरे भागता दौड़ता लुढ़क उड़कता वो भागता दौड़ता लुढ़क उड़कता और धड़क गिर जाता सत्या टिक नहीं पाता सब कहने लग जाएगी तो रोते रोते आएगा या थोड़ा कुछ तो डांट पड़े कभी क्लास में उधम मचाएगा पर सत्या क्या करता अरे बोलो बोलो अरे सत्या क्या करता अगर उसका चले ना कोई जोर हाथ पैर नाचे उसके जैसे जंगल में मोर अरे सत्या टिक नहीं पाता वो सत्या टिक नहीं पाता.
happened, came a day. You know what day was it? When everybody is at home. Everybody sits together, play together, spends time together. Correct? It was a Sunday. It was a day when Satya could go with his mother to the farms, to the place where she worked. Amma said, Satya, get ready. We have to go to the fields, to the farms. Satya was all excited. You know why? Because to reach the farm, you know how was the way? They had to go up, they had to go down. They had to go through the forest. They had to go beside the stream. And Satya could freely move himself without listening. Satya, watch out. He got ready. They all started their journey. And how did Satya start his journey? He hopped like a rabbit. Watch out, Satya, be careful. He sprinted like a deer. Watch out, Satya, don't go that far, Satya. Amma was calling him from behind all the time he went ahead. Satya, there's mud, Satya. There's squishy mud, Satya. You will fall, Satya. And Satya slipped. He slipped. But he did not cry. But he did not stop. You know what he did? He started to crawl. He crawled like a centipede. And the moment mother could stop him, he slithered like a snake. Mom! Amma said, look, Satya, wait, Satya, there are bushes, Satya, be careful of the thorns, Satya. And before Amma could stop him, Satya caught hold of something which was hanging on the tree. And there he went like a spider. In no time, he held a branch of the tree and swung like a langur. Whee! Hold yourself, my little monkey. Hold that branch tight. After all, Amma was a bit worried too.
वो दिन आया जब अम्मा के संग जाना था जहाँ जंगल खेत नदी रस्सों की मस्ती में खो जाना था सत्या दौड़ा जैसे हिरण या खरगोश कोई झूमे पवन पर सांप सरेगा मकड़ी सा झूला कूदा जैसे ओ लंगूर अम्मा चिंता करती न चिंता निकल न जाना बस कहीं दूर पर सत्या टिक नहीं पाता अरे सत्या टिक नहीं पाता
Satya! 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 Where are you, Satya? Oh, kindly look behind you. Has Satya come to your house? Oh, Satya! No, wait. He's right here. Amma could hear water splashing. Satya was already pedaling like a duck. Stay here, Satya. Don't go that side. It's deep that side, Satya. Stay in the shallow, Satya. And he swam like a frog. Tar, 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 tar. He was enjoying himself. Watch out, Satya. There are rocks beside you. Well, but nothing could harm Satya. He climbed the wall like a lizard. And before even he could lose his grip, he jumped like a goat. Satya was full of actions. He was a happy child. He was full of imaginations. He spread his arms. He kissed the clouds. He imagined himself soaring and gliding like a vulture. And there Satya and Amma had reached the fields. Whole day, Satya was with Amma. Amma could spend time with Satya and Satya could be around Amma. Amma was working. Satya was playing. Oh, it was a beautiful day.
वो सत्या टिक नहीं पाता, अरे सत्या टिक नहीं पाता, बतख के जैसे चप्पू चलाता, मेंढक जैसे गोते खाता, छिपकली के जैसे चढ़ता, बकरी सी वो छलांग लगाता। वो था चंचल सत्या का मन, पंछी जैसे झूमे गगन, पर सत्या टिक नहीं पाता। Come on everybody, वो सत्या टिक नहीं पाता, अरे सत्या टिक नहीं पाता, वो सत्या टिक नहीं पाता।
Oh, it's evening already. The sun was about to set. The sky was getting darker. It was time to go back home. But by now, playing all the day, making all the movements, Satya was now tired. Amma took him on his back and started her journey back home, through the forest, beside the stream, to the ups and to the downs. Satya could hear the crickets humming. He was trying to be asleep, resting on his mama's back. But what was happening at home? What was happening with Appa, Akka and Tata? They were all missing Satya. Yes, they were all used to his actions. They were all used to the movements. They were all missing him. They were all waiting for him standing outside the house. Here comes Satya on Mama's back. And here spread the laughter. Everybody just laughed looking at Satya. He was all covered with the mud. He had scratches. He had bruises. He was tired. His hair were messy. Tata took him home inside the house. He gave him a bath. Appa made delicious dinner for him. And Akka told him a beautiful story. Like you love listening to story, even Satya did. And Satya felt asleep. Do you think, my dear ones, while Satya was sleeping, the moments did stop? Do you think that? Do you think his imaginations could stop? No! They took an absolute new picture. Like, before reaching the farm, he could only imagine like a vulture, but here he could be like a vulture and fly off towards the sky. So Satya could fly too.
अब शाम हुई, घर जाना था उन्हीं रस्तों और बगानों से, जंगल पूरा झूम उठा था झिंगुरों के गानों से। पर पापा दीदी दादू ने देखा जो उसका बुरा हाल, तो गूंज उठा था फिर घर पूरा हंसी और मुस्कानों से। दादू ने नहलाया, पापा ने खिलाया, दीदी ने सुलाया, हुआ उधम खत्म। सच में खत्म? ना ना, क्योंकि सपने में भी सत्या टिक नहीं पाता, अरे सत्या टिक नहीं पाता, अरे भागता दौड़ता लुढ़क लुढ़कता, ओ भागता दौड़ता लुढ़क लुढ़कता, मगर इस बार वो कहीं उड़ जाता, सत्या टिक नहीं पाता, वो सत्या टिक नहीं पाता, वो सत्या टिक नहीं पाता.
Wow. So did you see that this beautiful story tells us about the movements, about the different moments of different creatures, and how beautifully has this been presented? Thank you so much, everyone. I'm sure you all like this story, and you all are going to enjoy the movement further by the tribe the whole month around. Am I right, Rituparna?
Woohoo! Let me clap again for you. I really enjoyed the last bits. I'm going to clap. This is so gratifying, isn't it? You get a clap even when you can't see your audience, but they're enjoying within your story. I think it was beautiful. Woohoo! Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll come back to the story. We'll come back to the song at the end of the show today for everyone to jump onto the stage and dance and sing to the song like Satya does. Okay, that's it. Okay, one thing I really love is that every year during this one day one story thing, what I've always done is added a song to the story. And adding a song to the story, immediately I've noticed that just lifts the story up. It makes it more engaging. It makes it more fun for listeners, especially for children, because everybody wants to sing with you. Everybody wants to dance with you. And there is something more sticky than the story, something very memorable that they want to take away with. So when you said you have a musical, I said, yay, let's begin with a musical. So let's hear it from Vasudha and Kunnal about the making of the song. So we know the story came first, but what was the process behind putting this song together?
So it was fun making up the song. Before we could even think of song, we had to think about the idea to put in the song. Maybe we can convert it into some riddles and make the song. Maybe we're going to enhance the actions, or we're going to bring some animals, or... So there was a lot of confusions, a lot of jiggling here in the head before we could create the song. So Kunnal came up with this beautiful idea of making this song where he kept Satya as he was in the book. And there we made some corrections, we made some cuttings, we added few, we subtracted few, and then beautifully composed by Kunnal, here is the song.
I basically translated it because there was no Hindi translation in the website. So what I basically did was I translated it in Hindi and just rhymed it. That's what I did.
I think a musician would look at a story differently. A musician looks at a story very differently. Correct. In a different meter, in a different rhythm, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. And that came out beautifully in your song.
Thank you.
And beautiful. And I think it's very memorable. It's very catchy. It's something that children, because of the way Vasudha also told it with lots of actions, I think children, I'm sure the ones who are watching would love to get on stage and would love to dance to it.
Yeah, so she tells it beautifully.
Yes.
Lots of hugs.
We do a lot of stories together, and she always does a beautiful song.
Lovely. So thank you so much. So ladies and gentlemen, our lovely viewers, that is for Vasudha and Kunnal. Give them a big round of applause. You can give us digital applause like you have on the screen right now. You can clap, you can whistle. Yes, you're getting it. All right. Okay, moving on with the show for this evening. Kunnal, you can wait backstage for some time. You can switch off your camera. I'd like to bring onto the stage. I'd like Archana to switch on your camera and let everyone see you. Archana and I have known each other for quite a few years now, and she's been a very, very active member of the tribe. And Archana has been one of the storytellers who's been part of One Day One Story with YSB Tribe ever since we started. And with it has been her own journey of telling stories and of using this particular day to reach out to many, many more children. Archana, why don't you tell everyone, including our own tribe members, about how your journey with One Day One Story has been?
Thank you, Rituparna. I'm actually feeling privileged that I got this opportunity to share in front of everyone. I am associated with you. Like, I know you since 2017, and 2018 was the first year when I was the part of this big campaign as a tribe. Like 2018, and since morning I'm just traveling that memory lane. आज सुबह से मैं सोच रही हूँ कि मुझे क्या बोलना है, क्या नहीं बोलना है, वहां जाके क्या क्या शेयर करना है. So 2018, I mean, when before that, this event, One Day One Story, I was doing, like, on my own, and then few schools approached, but they wanted it for free. So this One Day One Story got, it brought the opportunity in front of me to reach out different schools. And when the letter goes, like, from your, YSB tribe or your story bag, so and so is approaching for you to conduct, it's a huge feeling in itself. I mean, when all the people, all the tribe members are working together to reach out to, to make this campaign such a success. I still remember I got back to the, our archived sheets and all. So I got to know that we were 20 storytellers, more than 100 plus shows, and we reached out to, 10,000 plus children. I mean, it is so big and huge. And this time we are 20 plus, and the whole month we are going to, this month is going to be crazy for all of us. So how as my personal growth in that year, I think did 5-6 sessions in the schools and individual sessions. But I felt that whenever I did the same story, and it was Cloud of Trash, I did that, and whenever I did, it was, something new came up each time. And when all the tellers were discussing with each other, so everyone has a different point of view to bring out the best in the story. So there was so much learning happening when you do things collaboratively. कोई कुछ manage कर रहा है, कोई कुछ manage कर रहा है, and you are bringing, you are reaching out to masses actually. And I believe that whenever when I am performing a story, or when I am doing with someone else, when I listen to their point of view, it's, it strikes us that, यार ये मैंने नहीं सोचा. So there is a growth in everything if you see. ऐसे नहीं कि जो मैंने किया है वो उसने देखा, अरे मैंने जो नहीं किया वो मुझे सीखने को मिला. So this kind of experience is actually really, very, very, very fruitful. So when I look at the stories this time, so for me, I might approach the stories differently. Like I like to connect stories with STEM learning. So science के जैसे अभी इतना अच्छी वसुधा ने कहानी सुनाई और इतना अच्छा म्यूजिकल था उसके साथ कुणाल का, तो I was just thinking कि see, we can tell children about habitats, about different animals, about different walks. Someone else will come with something else on top of it. And if I look at the other story, we can actually connect physics to it. The Puchku Siksa song, it's a beautiful book. And we can actually, when you take that to higher classes, you can actually tell them about sound. What are different methods of sound production, and how strings and percussion and all those things. I mean, it's so deep. And stories can take you, I don't know what I'm going to do with this story this time. I have so many plans to do it, but it's brilliant. And that's why we say that don't state the moral. Let it be different for everyone, how they perceive the story. See, I have my own perception when I read the story or listen to the story. So every child has their own thing. So this time it has given the opportunity so that we can all, explore it, learn from each other, grow with each other, and help each other collaboratively. I'm so looking forward to this month.
Archana mentioned a couple of things, which is very true, that each one of us has a very different take on the stories. We never have, if there are 25 storytellers, there will be, I think, more than 50 or 75 or 100 ways of looking at each of these stories. And when people talk, then there are more multiple perspectives which come on, which are hybrid perceptions.
Yes.
Because then your decision making or your reading or your response to the story changes. And I think that's very, very interesting. A very interesting exercise as storytellers, and also for the listener, because we've all had those situations when you've gone in to tell a story and somewhere you begin talking about a story and the child will invariably say, ye to humne sun liya hai. So when they say that we've heard this before, so there is that opportunity for you to rework your story and tell it in a new way. And this is the learning ground for it, for all of us, where you know that you're all telling the same story, but each one of us adds their own spices, their own tadka, their own masala, and their secret sauces to make the story stand out in whichever way we can. Archana touched upon another interesting thing about what are the takeaways from these stories. So Archana is also going to be putting together the lesson plans for these stories, which will be available for everyone in the digital library. You can download it, whether you're a parent, you're a teacher, you're another storyteller, you want to use the story and the lesson plan, please go ahead and do that. Archana, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I just remembered this, that when there were two stories, I think it was last time. No, not last time. Last 2019. So there, it was Gappu Ka Dance and Princess Neela. I mean, how someone would imagine that these two stories can be in sequence? I mean, we did that also.
Yeah.
And someone dressed up like I am telling my experience. I dressed up as Neela actually, and I narrated in first person that it's my story. So one can experiment with it, and this time also for the listeners who have joined us, we are going to experiment in different languages. You have audio stories, video stories. You can join our live sessions, and it could be theatrical form, it could be musical form, it could be show and tell, it could be props. I don't know. You have to find yourself. Just keep yourself updated by liking our page, and then just wait for all the posters to come out one by one.
Well, you mentioned about Gapukan dance. I did it. So Satya has made a sparkling debut in my Gapuka dance story, because Gapukan
Okay.
dance, and she can't dance, and everybody is like saying they don't want to be her dance partner, except that there is a boy called Satya in her class who also doesn't dance to a tune. He has his own beats and his rhythm and his own movements, and nobody wants to dance with Satya either. So Gapu and Satya become dance partners in their dance class, and they have to put up a show. And so it is Satya who teaches Gapu all his animal moves and how they become the standout dancing partner in the class. So Satya has made a debut in my stories in Gapu Can Dance also. And maybe I'm planning to do that hybrid story again, because that's the beauty of stories, especially the ones coming from Pratham books, that you can pick up a story, you can play with it, you can give it a new form, so that the story that you're reading sounds very, very different. And that's the liberty that I have taken every year. None of the years have I told the story the way it is. It's always been told as something like, is it the story? So I think that's the good fun. You challenge yourself. So thank you so much, Archana, for sharing your thoughts. And stay on, work with all the new tellers who are doing it for the first time. They need all your help and your guidance and your expertise. So thank you so much. All right, I'd like to bring on Surbhi right now. Surbhi is a psychologist, and she works in the realm of mental health and well-being. And I'd like to have Surbhi share her views. I'd like to have Surbhi share her views on the use of stories and storytelling for mental health, and therefore, what can we do as storytellers to enable these conversations and talk about emotional literacy, as we call it, which is also an important part of growing up. Over to you, Surbhi. Why don't you share with everyone your perspective?
Thank you, Rituparna, for this, for inviting here. And I love that sound of applause, what times I've been missing it. Yeah. So, thanks. So, stories, like this is the first time when I'm doing this one day one story. And when I noticed it's International Literacy Day, then I thought, oh my God, we are always talking of literacy in just reading and writing. But there is a very, very important aspect of literacy, which is emotional literacy. And thanks to Corona, everybody has realized the stark need for, being emotionally literate, taking care of mental health. And I always think, why do we talk of mental health only when you are suffering from problems, or when there is, I have stress, I have depression, I have anxiety? What is the solution for that? How do we make people to understand that your mental health is in your hands and you can do something about it, rather than, when you are stressed or when you are having problems? And the best way that I found is through stories, because when you tell stories, so many things happen. First of all, it's like a great stress buster. It's a great way to build a bond. A lot of people, the older ones who suffer from loneliness, if you are just telling stories, they feel so much connected. And in today's time, though we are digitally connected, but we are feeling so much lonely, so much lack of connection is there. And not just that, if I just talk about the research also, how our brain, it thinks in terms of narrative, it thinks in terms of stories, it always wants a meaning, it's always looking for connection, for purpose. So stories are, I think it's a very, very untapped area of stories. And generally, if I have this conversation with people, what is mental health? Mental health means मैं पागल हूँ, depression, anxiety, blah, blah, blah. And what are stories? What can stories do? Stories only for teaching, ma'am. This is the moral of the story. So, I am here because when I started with social emotional learning, and I thought, what is the best way to do that? The best way is stories, because when you tell a story to a child, or for that matter, any adult, what are you basically doing? If you look at the plot, if you look at the characters, and if you look how we express, what are we really bringing out? It's the emotions.
So let's use Satya's example in this story. Satya, who is a free-spirited, happy-go-lucky kid. From the mental health point of view, how significant is this story for a child, or even for the parent, for that matter?
For the child, it is very important, because when they see Satya, they immediately relate to it. That here is somebody who is expressing who I am. Because children, they want movement. And the emotion, the imagination which Satya shows, also the beautiful bond that is there between Satya and his family. How accepting, though he's running and playing and doing, but how accepting and beautiful that bond is. So many things, that entirety of that emotional experience for children. And when children hear such stories, they're able to make sense of their own experiences. And I realize this, when I used to tell, like in the offline sessions, children would suggest, or they'd come up, I want to listen to this story, or I want to listen to this story. And I used to think, why they're asking this, like, what is it in that story? And then I realized that it is addressing some emotional need in children. So, and for adults in this story, I think if you can understand a child's perspective when you hear a story like Satya, because we are always, like children should sit in a classroom and then we should just bombard them with information and they should just sit and learn. But that's exactly, what is being portrayed so beautifully in these stories. That his teacher says, no, Satya, why don't you sit? And if you see the story, you can just understand a child and what they really need. So I think the stories bring about so many things for children. It helps them to make sense of their emotions, and also, their fears. There are a lot of things which they are not able to understand because they don't have that vocabulary for that. But when you tell a story to a child, they just immediately get it, and it's very cathartic for children, especially during these times when they when we are locked up, schools is not happening. So children also have emotional needs, they have mental health needs too, and we need to address that.
What I really like about Satya's story is that the adults let the child be a child.
Yes.
And that's one thing I think all children and even adults crave for. We all want to be the child. We all don't want to be dictated by society and by people and their demands. And I think, therefore, Satya's story gives this little spark of hope To children, yes, because it's a child like them and they find themselves in a storybook. But to adults who've lost the child in them, who've started to walk, sit, stay on mute, stay on camera off, and behave in a very, very collared way, that this is how my life is, and they've forgotten what it means to be like Satya. So I think Satya opens up that possibility for children as well as for adults. So it's a very important story, and I think it's important for children and for adults to go look for themselves while they listen to the story over and over and over again, and they will learn to appreciate that there is so much fun in just being a child. So thank you, Surbhi, for sharing this wonderful insight about the story and what it means. So we'll listen to you a little bit more. I'd like to bring on Malaika right now. Malaika, can you switch on your camera, please? Yes, there we have Malaika. So Malaika is joining us, and Malaika is a teacher trainer. She works with lots of teachers.
Yes.
And we would like to invite a lot of teachers to come on board, to watch our stories, to listen to our stories. Malaika, could you tell me a little from your experience, how critical is storytelling for teachers? And why should they look out for this entire month of storytelling from us, from the tribe, from your experience, and what you think would be a valuable takeaway for them?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I would like to thank you, Rituparna ma'am, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to come on the stage and interact with you all, such a lovely people. Like being in 22 years of experience in educational field, I have always been telling stories. But until when I came in contact with your story bag, I had no idea how important the stories were to my life. I used to think the stories of, mainly is what the narratives like, which has been given, it's a structured way or written into books and the movies and the plays. So from that perspective, they were something I could choose when and how to consume, or as I learned more about stories and storytelling, though I realized that they are far more more things in stories than these what I used to think like. So same thing, like as I started as a pre-primary teacher, I used to just read out the story, and what was the teacher's main motive is that, okay, I tell a story and kids had to memorize this story, and they will be talking about it or telling that story.
Malaika, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, okay. I thought like some network issues. So, hello, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought suddenly it went off. Okay. So when I do tell a story and listen to the stories with a clear narratives, but many a times it happens that teachers, when they look at the story, they have the thoughts that it is only about learning the story. Kids should be able to recite a story. They has to memorize the story, and teachers look at the story for concepts learning and don't work on deeper understanding of the stories. Do you remember any story narrated by a teacher without a last say, what did you learn from the story? Or what is the moral of the story? Now, when I hear this question, I always feel that this is like, somewhere we are asking, we are telling them, why is it necessary that we should always decide on a moral for the story? We should leave it open for our listeners to connect the story with their own life experiences and have different takeaways for a single story. Teachers need to understand that there is a lot to work on stories. It's not just take a story and have a little bit voice modulation and go about it. No, it's not that. The way today we did it, we connected with a song, like we could even, the way Vasudha ma'am did it, she was enacting it, and we can even ask the kids to, take a part in the story. So I feel they should come and watch our entire series and understand that there is not one way to look at the stories. if you want to work on a story, you need to think and write, a little bit every day maybe, or pay attention to the world around you and the stories which you can know. Everywhere there are stories hiding and waiting for you all to see to it, like the way it was being presented also today. And these campaign which we have launched, like with the help of Pratham Books, you all will feel that whole month there are only 2 stories, but it will be presented by different teachers or the tellers, I can say, with a different views, giving same story with a different perspective, making it unique in their own ways, I feel. So teachers should look out for our story bag, which has been, sharing our library, where you will find each one's uniqueness. I feel everyone has their own uniqueness, and that presentation will be there through these stories. What we'll be having a whole month, and it is a really good platform for teachers to look out and. Like looking at the stories, the way ma'am has said, Archana ma'am has said, or Surbhi ma'am has said, that kids or emotional connection. So if you give, don't end the story of Satya, where might be your kids will take that Satya somewhere else where they want to reach out. The story is such a lovely story that the kids may not go only, in the dreams world, but they will really create their own fantasy world through this Satya story, I feel. That is what I feel. So teachers playing a crucial role here to mold the kids. They are not non-living things whom we are dealing with. They are the living devices which are having, their own say. So I feel we should give them that opportunity, to participate in the stories, participates in the stories, as well as to create their own stories, the way the Satya is being designed.
Thank you so much, Malaika. With Malaika sharing this bit about the fact that we have a digital library, I'd like to remind everybody, yes, we have a digital library of audio, video stories, of read-alouds, of dramatic tellings, and many different versions of the story that you can enjoy in multiple Indian languages. We will have stories in English, in Hindi, Bangla, Marathi, Telegu, as well as some other languages which I think I'm forgetting right now. But I would like to share with you what one of the videos which just came to us, and this is from Adishri Periwal. She's a storyteller from Mumbai, and I would like to share with you Satya's story, the story that we just heard from Vasudha, and I would like you to see the beautiful illustrations in the book, which has been published by Pratham Books. So listen to Adishri Periwal reading the story out.
Hello, Namaste. Welcome to One Day, One Story 2021 by Pratham Books. आप सुन रहे हैं आदिश्री पेरीवाल को. I'm a proud member of YSB tribe of Storytellers. हम आपके लिए लाए हैं ढेर सारी कहानियाँ on the occasion of International Literacy Day. ये कहानी मेरी जुबानी आपके लिए. सत्यम जरा संभल के. ऑथर यामिनी विजयन, इलस्ट्रेटर विष्णु एम नैयर, ट्रांसलेटर मधु बी जोशी, पब्लिशर प्रथम बुक्स. चुलबुला सत्यम चैन से नहीं बैठ सकता. वो दौड़ता है, छलांगे मारता है, चक्कर काटता है और कला मुंडियां खाता है और गिर भी जाता है. जरा चैन से बैठ जा, बाबा कहते. चोट लगे तो फिर रोते हुए मेरे पास मत आना. दीदी कहती, कहीं कुछ तोड़ मत देना. दादा समझाते, पूरी कक्षा सिर पर उठा रखी है. स्कूल में मैडम कहती. लेकिन सत्यम बेचारा क्या करे, उसके हाथ पैर तो हरदम हरकत करते रहते हैं. आज रविवार है. सत्यम को रविवार का इंतजार रहता है, क्योंकि हर रविवार वो माँ के साथ खेत पर जाता है. खेत घर से बहुत दूर है. रास्ते में पड़ते हैं खेत, टेढ़ी मेढ़ी पगडंडियां, घना जंगल और कल कल छल छल बहते झरने भी. सत्यम खरगोश की तरह फुदका. उसने हिरन की तरह कुलांचे भरी. अरे संभल कर, कीचड़ में फिसल मत जाना. माँ ने कहा। वो कनखजूरे की तरह सरका और सांप की तरह रेंगा। जरा कांटों से बचना, माँ ने जोर से कहा। वह मकड़े की तरह झूला और लंगूर की तरह कूदा। हुई! अरे बंदर, जरा मजबूत डाल पकड़, माँ ने डर कर कहा। उसने बतख की तरह पैरों से चप्पू चलाया और मेंढक की तरह तैरा। गहरे पानी में मत जाना बेटा, माँ ने होशियार किया। वह छिपकली की तरह ऊपर चढ़ा और बकरी की तरह कूदा। जरा पैर जमा कर, माँ ने घबरा कर कहा। सत्यम ने अपनी बाहें पंखों की तरह फैलाई और उड़ने की कोशिश की। उसने मन ही मन सोचा कि मैं चील की तरह आसमान में उड़ रहा हूँ, बादलों पर तैर रहा हूँ बिना पंख फड़फड़ाए। सूरज डूबने के बाद देर शाम को जब झिंगुरों ने अपना राग अलापना शुरू किया, तब घर जाने का समय हो गया। थक कर सत्यम माँ की पीठ पर लद गया। दोनों ऊंची नीची पगडंडियों पर चढ़ते उतरते, खेत जंगल झरने पार करते घर लौटे। वह घर पहुंचा तो उसे कीचड़ मिट्टी से सना देख बाबा, दीदी और दादा खूब हंसे। दादा ने उसे नहलाया, बाबा ने बढ़िया खाना पकाया, दीदी ने मनपसंद कहानी सुनाकर सुलाया। सपने में सत्यम दौड़ा और कूदा और घूमा और उसने कलामुंडियां खाई और उड़ चला ऊपर और ऊपर। वे कितनी तरह की चालें चलते हैं, कैसी कैसी चाल चलता है सत्यम। जानते हो, जानवर, पंछी और कीड़े मकोड़े भी अलग अलग कारणों से अलग अलग तरीके की चाल चलते हैं। हमारी ही तरह वे भी ज्यादातर बढ़िया खाने और रहने की आरामदेह जगह या प्यार करने वाले परिवार की तलाश में एक से दूसरी जगह घूमते फिरते हैं। कभी कभी वे अपने उन दुश्मनों से बचने के लिए भी घूमते फिरते हैं जो उन्हें पकड़ कर खा सकते हैं। पता कीजिए कि जीव कितनी तरह से चलते फिरते हैं। सूंस यानी डॉल्फिन पानी से बाहर छलांग लगाने के लिए ही जानी जाती है। क्या आप छलांग लगा सकते हैं? जमीन पर रहने वाले जीवों में चीते सबसे ज्यादा तेजी से दौड़ते हैं। वह फर्राटे भी लगाते हैं। क्या आप फर्राटे लगा सकते हैं? केकड़े सामने सीधे चलने की बजाय बाएं या दाएं चल सकते हैं। क्या आप बिना बाएं या दाएं मुड़े ऐसी आड़ी चाल चल सकते हैं? टिड्डे अपनी आकार की तुलना में कई ज्यादा ऊंची कुदान मार सकते हैं, खास तौर से तब जब वह किसी शिकार करने वाले जीव की पकड़ में आने से बचना चाहते हो। क्या आप इतनी ऊंची कुदान मार सकते हैं? घोंगे बहुत ही धीरे धीरे घसटते हैं, बहुत ही धीरे धीरे। क्या आप इतनी धीमी चाल चल सकते हैं? इस कहानी को सुनने और पढ़ने के लिए धन्यवाद। साइनिंग ऑफ, आदिश्री पेरीवाल। जल्द ही मिलेंगे एक नई कहानी के साथ।
So that was Adishri's story, and we have many such stories, like I said, coming up in Bangla, Marathi, Telegu, English, Hindi, hybrid stories like mine, where you meet two different characters from two different stories, and perhaps you don't know what's going to come in. So we keep a watch out for our story. Sign up. You will have another sign up will come in, and all those who've registered for our event, you will get an email from us. Asking for another sign up. You can access the entire digital library and come in for our live shows. Please, yes, we are free, but we are here for a reason, because we want to reach out to as many number of people, including children. So please share this with your friends and family, and come join us in this month-long celebration. As we close this evening, I would like to call Kunnal on stage again. Kunnal, come in with your camera, with your guitar, and let's hear the song again. And all the lovely audience who's been waiting and watching us for this entire evening. On your right-hand side, you will see something called Get on Stage. Okay? If you'd like to come on stage and dance with Vasudha and Kunnal and their story, so and dance to Satya's beats and his rhythm, just click on that, Get on Stage, and we can have some fun. Okay, I do see one person, and that is Shumona. Okay, anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone? It's okay. You can remember, we are trying to be children again. You have to be a child and you have to enjoy yourself being a child like Satya.
Hi, everybody. I'm so sorry. Kunal had to discontinue and he
no
had
problem.
to. He had something urgent which had come up, so he had to leave the meeting and go. So,
Okay. Are you ready to sing and make people dance?
I'm afraid I would not be able to make people dance with my singing because I don't even have the guitar.
Okay, too bad. Vasudha is unable to make people dance to her tunes because
No, but
Kunal
then
would
yes,
have done that.
I can definitely play the music.
Go ahead and play the music. Shumana, switch on your camera. And Archana and Malaika and Surbhi. Come on. That's why you have to teach us your moves.
सब कहते लग जाएगी तो रोते रोते आएगा या थोड़े कुछ तो डांट पड़े कभी क्लास में उधम मचाएगा पर सत्या क्या करता बोलो बोलो सत्या क्या करता अगर उसके चले न कोई तो हाथ पैर नाचे उसके जैसे जंगल में हो अरे सत्या टिक नहीं पाता सत्या टिक नहीं पाता
Woo! Let's clap for ourselves.
फिर सप्ताह का वो दिन आया जब अम्मा के संग जाना जंगल खेत नदी रसों की मस्ती में खो जाना था सत्या दौड़ा जैसे वो या खरगोश कोई झूम पवन सांप सरेगा मकड़ी सा झूला कूदा जैसे वो लंगू अम्मा करती चिंता न गिरना निकलना जाना बस कहीं दूर पर सत्या टिक नहीं पाता सत्या टिक नहीं पाता कटक के जैसे चप्पू चलाता मेंढक जैसे गोते खाता छिपकली के जैसे चलता बकरी सी वो छलांग लगाता चंचल सत्या का मन पंछी कोई जैसे झूमे गगन अब शाम हुई घर जाना था उन्हीं रस्तों और बगानों से जंगल पूरा था झूम उठा झिंगुरों के गानों से घर पर पापा दीदी दादू ने देखा जो उसका बुरा हाल तो गूंज उठा था फिर घर पूरा हंसी से और मुस्कानों से दादू ने खिलाया पापा ने खिलाया दीदी ने सुलाया हुआ उधम खत्म सच में खत्म ना ना क्योंकि सपने में भी सत्या टिक नहीं पाता सत्या टिक नहीं पाता भागता दौड़ता लुढ़क उड़कता भागता दौड़ता लुढ़क उड़कता और कहीं उड़ जाता सत्या टिक नहीं पाता
वाह 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 हम अपने लिए ताली बजा देते हैं All right. Thank you so much, Vasudha and Kunnal, who's not here with us right now. But and definitely to Archana, to Surbhi, to Malaika, thank you for joining us for this launch. And I think this is wonderful. And to all the lovely tribe members who are listening from the audience, thank you for being there. Thank you for joining us. The new ones and the old ones. This is your space. Please enjoy this 1 month, collaborate, create magic, and share the love for stories with everyone. And let's make this happen. Lovely. Thank you so much. All right. Before we close, I'd like to just take a picture with all of us. So everyone smile. I got that. Just another one for safety. Okay, all right. So that's all we have for this evening, and good night from all of us at the tribe. Happy storytelling.